my name is Paula Joya, and I will give him my thoughts on spanking children. One, my overall views on spanking children. To be honest, I don't fully agree on spanking children as a method of discipline. I know it's something that has been passed down through generations. Many for parents or grandparents probably use it on us, but it's just because it was common doesn't necessarily mean it's right or effective. I think there are more respectful and emotionally healthy ways to guide children and teach them right from wrong. I understand why some parents choose to spank, they feel it's fast and clear, but I personally believe spanking can send mixed messages, especially to younger kids who are still learning how to communicate and manage emotions. Pros and cons of spanking. Let's be fair. Some people feel that spanking can be effective in the short term. It might immediately stop a child from doing something dangerous, like running on the street. But it's also sometimes seen as a way to show children that certain actions have consequences. For parents who were raised with spanking, it might feel familiar and like tough love kind of approach. Cons. In the long term, the negative real the negatives really outweigh the positive. Research has shown that children who are spanked regularly tend to be more aggressive, more anxious, and sometimes less trusting of authorities. It doesn't really help kids to learn why something is wrong. It just teaches them to avoid getting caught. Also, spanking can be blur the lines between discipline and violence, especially done out of anger. That's when it becomes more about parents' emotional reactions and less about helping the child grow. There's also a risk that it becomes a habit. The parent starts using it more often because it's convenient, not because it's truly helpful. What kind of spanking might be considered appropriate and what's over the line? If someone does spank, I think it should always be with an open hand, on the bottom, and only after the parent has cooled down the mind. Like, it should never be done in the heat of the moment. Anything more than that, it's like using belts, switches, or any kind of really hard object, sometimes even wood or metal. It's absolutely over the line. That becomes physical abuse. Hitting hard enough, some leave marks, or spanking out of frustration instead of calm discipline is unacceptable. Spanking should be the first response. Spanking shouldn't, be the first response. It should come after other methods have failed, if at all. What ages are appropriate for spanking, if anything? If any, sorry. This is a tricky one. Some people say that spanking is only somehow somewhat effective between the ages of about 2 to 5 years old, when kids might not fully yet understand reasoning or timeouts. But even then, it should be extremely limited. After that age, I think some other tools work much better, like taking away privileges, timeout, reward system, and most importantly, communication. Older kids and teenagers in particular need to be talked to, not hit. They're developing their sense of independence and identity. The physical punishment can harm that. Do I plan to spank my children? No, I don't plan to spank my children, and let's start with the fact that I don't even want children. I rather build a relationship where they feel safe to talk to me, even when they messed up, to my imaginary children. I believe discipline should be teach, not punish. That means explaining why certain actions are wrong, helping them understand the consequences, and letting them grow through it. I think kids learn better when they feel respected and heard. They'll make mistakes, that's a big part of a child. But hitting doesn't really help them develop the skills they need to make better choices next time. What are my thoughts on spanking kids in public? Spanking kids just adds another layer of shame, both to the child and the parent. It turns a moment of discipline into something very public and humiliating. Sorry. I've seen it happen, and it always makes everyone around very much uncomfortable. I think if a child misbehaves in public, it's better to pull them aside and talk to them quietly, and if they need, remove them from the situation entirely. But hitting them in front of others can be really damaging emotionally and socially. What are my thoughts on slapping in the face? Slapping in the face is a hard no for me. It's demeaning, aggressive, and completely inappropriate. Also very personal. Hitting someone in the face feels like a punishment meant to hurt or embarrass, not to teach. There's never a reason to do that to a child. Like, why would you want to embarrass your kid like that? It's really messed up. It crosses major boundaries, and I think most people will agree that it is more harmful rather than helpful, both physically and emotionally. Anyway, so that was my talk. Thank you.